The walkers are flying from their home to Willow Creek for a funeral. They don't know yet that they are never really going back. I'm EverSave and welcome to Oasis Springs Airport, warm, faded and carrying that slightly tired feeling of a place where thousands of Sims' little feet have passed through on their way to somewhere else. This part of my rundown save follows an 80s Miami Vice vibe.
What?
I've never actually been to Miami, but I've watched a lot of Miami Vice, so that's what I know. Some bleach walls and a bit of grit. In my save, builds usually begin with a story. This airport exists because this specific family needed a way to travel between worlds. What brings the walkers here is a death in Willow Creek, a piece of their family history that has been left untouched for far too long. Let's see if we can change that. Let's leave the terminal for a short detour and head toward Old Poppy Lane, where winter has settled in. This is the third house on the street that I not only completed but brought to life by intertwining gameplay with my rundown save and cluttered my way forward, build for build, whatever the gameplay has demanded. It's a cold night and the street is quiet. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, kind old Rose falls asleep for the last time beside Claire, the person who has shared her life for years. By morning, only one of them will wake up. I rarely kill my Sims. My game is usually set to forever mode, but sometimes a story demands a good old-fashioned departure. I want this house eventually filled with a colorful, noisy family, and for that to happen, I needed a realistic, affordable reason for them to move into the grandest house on Poppy Lane. The walkers have never exactly lived the Motherloded life, and for me, background stories need a realistic flow. I'd never move a family into a neighborhood they clearly couldn't afford without a reason that feels right. A quick question for you guys. Are you the Motherlode friendly type of player? Or are you like me? Every simoleon spent needs a plausible explanation. My Sims can have all the simoleons they need if the explanation feels right. Let me know in the comments. I'm so curious. Rose will wake up to a silence that doesn't just change her life, but will also change this house forever. Rose started as a young housekeeper at Poppy Lane. She became Claire's partner and they built a life together. Now she has to figure out how to live alone. She calls her son, the one she hasn't seen in years. Life just carried them in different directions until the distance became something they both simply learned to live with. And now he's on his way, moving through this airport, heading to a funeral for a woman who is almost a stranger to him, but who meant everything to his mother. At first, this is just a visit, but somewhere between this airport and the old house on Poppy Lane, mother and son will begin to notice each other again. They will realize the distance between them was never the same as not caring. Eventually, they will stay. They will stay because leaving the house means losing each other all over again. That is when the house will find its final form. I'll be redecorating this big old place yet again to accommodate a full, messy household, turning a house of quiet memories into a home for a noisy future. Do you remember the lonely, nerdy kid from across the street? When the walkers eventually move in, that is also when he finally gets the friend he's been waiting for. So, it all started here with some gameplay demanding a flight and a funeral. a story that grew into 2 airports and a house in 2 versions. One for 2 kind old ladies and one for the chaos to come. That is how Old Poppy Lane and my save file in general slowly comes together through a mix of gameplay, building and a serious amount of clutter. Some of these builds, including the airport, are already on my Patron if you want them in your game. Hit subscribe if you want to see the renovation and the walkers moving in, or maybe you are curious about the other airport. Maybe you just leave a like if your Sims also need a plausible reason for getting Motherloded. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our descent in Willow Creek. Please return to your seats, fasten your seatbelts, and make sure all emotional baggage is securely stored for landing.